season 2 is definitely dealing with parenting a lot more than the first season did. Both parenting your own children and also as you start to get older and your parents start to get older, how you deal with those relationships as well.
Sure. We are slightly more successful than we were last year. Yeah, and we become bank robbers. And the show takes a dramatic turn when Judy gets killed. No.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. It's not really a spoiler because it happens so early on because we were just trying to get to a new place in the show. No, we both have jobs. We rent a bigger house. We're slightly more successful, and I think we're dealing with the implications of what that means as far as working, trying to raise kids, trying to find time for each other.
AJ is sober and celibate, but that doesn't mean he doesn't get himself in trouble because he's constantly trying to make up for the shame he feels over the downward spiral that he experienced in season 1, and the desperation to redeem himself gets him into even worse situations than before. And then he meets Abby and starts questioning his celibacy.
Very celibate sparks fly at the beginning.
Lena gets a job. Lena is starting to explore some autonomy in her relationship, but she's also now wondering what's going to happen in this next phase of her life when her kids are getting older and she no longer has to be so hands-on all the time with her husband, with her kids. What does she want? She hasn't thought about what she wanted in so long.
I have this gorgeous little son. He's so cute.
Chase, played by Chase.
Chase, played by Chase. He's just incredible.
Yeah.
It was amazing to see how many similarities there were between the cast and the characters that they played, and the relationships that started to develop between the cast in real life, and it was really fun to kind of explore that more in the second season as I got to know the actors better.
Andrew's really good, among other things, zeroing in on thoughts that you have about experience and what an experience felt like to you, and then making that his own in the character.
Yeah, it feels sometimes like you're speaking words that you've spoken before.
I like her relationship with Russ. I think it's evolved into a nice, subtle resentment that I think she's enjoying him a little bit more in season 2, but she's just as resentful. It's hard.
Just personally and professionally, you're enjoying me more, right?
I would agree with that, yes.
Everything's a lot more intense. Everybody's, I guess that's just true of life, right? As the years go on, the stakes get higher.
The stakes get higher as you head towards the back 9.
We want to travel.
Yes. I want to do married in a foreign country.
Yeah. We want to...
Somewhere where there's good waves. Costa Rica. I would go to Greece.
Basically any place y'all want to go, right?
Yeah, and pretty much any place that we can go.
Then he can surf and I can shop. Marrakesh? Paris. Do they surf in Paris?
They have indoor surfing somewhere in Paris, probably.
You can go to the coast of France, Biarritz.
Oh, wait. Okay, so coast of France.
There you go.
Okay, settled.
Look at that.
Done.
Deal.
Like a real married couple.
It's actually been sort of the experience of a lifetime, really, because, at the end of production, both guys said some version of this has been one of the best experiences of my career. And coming from, Josh, who has become a hero of mine in the last few years, but coming from Billy, who's been a hero of mine since I was 11 years old, that's really cool to hear. And I think he's...
Just to be clear, before Ben was 11, he hated Billy Crystal, but at 11, it kind of turned around.
He just did that one thing, when I was 10 and a half, and I was like, I'm going to give this guy a second chance.
He's going to be an icon.
Here we are, 3 years later, and I'm still a fan. But that's very, very cool, and I think we are all really proud of what we've made together, and it's really gratifying.
We watched a lot of Larry Sanders, and that was a big influence on the show, and it was actually great for two guys who spent a lot of time watching that show and thinking about that show and saying that show's so amazing to be able to do something that it isn't the same show by any means, but that really could reflect the influence of something that we respected that much.
I was surprised that we connected with the audience at all, enjoyable, really, because it was a very sort of personal story and something very esoteric, and we weren't trying to hit any sweet spots. I was really trying to just kind of do something that entertained me and that I thought had kind of balls and heart and intellect all at the same time.
So Edgar and Gretchen and Jimmy are all now living together, and Lindsay's in the aftermath of her divorce, and you basically just see the progression of what those relationships look like, and a lot of crazy madness ensues.
Because we shoot the entire season before it airs, they're sort of fresh to us again, because it's been a few months since we shot them. So often I will be surprised by the one-liners there that I didn't necessarily clock while shooting, or we don't always get to watch everyone else's scenes. So that's been fun to see all that.
My favorite thing reading all the scripts for season 2 was imagining how Desmond would say a line, or Chris or Aya, because we all know each other so well by now, so it's really cool. That definitely plays into the writing, for sure.
Watching the first maybe like 5 episodes, it looked like we were relatively unlikable characters, but by the end of the show, seeing the response that people were really rooting for us was very encouraging. I never wanted people to hate Jimmy, I never wanted people to hate our relationship, but just find the jokes funny. They're really rooting for us.
Something we always in the writer's room, I always pound into my writer's head, and we're all very cognizant of, is this real human behavior? Could someone do this? Would someone behave like this?
I love seeing how everything kind of came to be, and where it could possibly go.
There was an episode last season called Sunday Fun Day, where the 4 characters spent the entire episode together doing fun things. And we're doing that again, but it's themed this year, and it's different, and it's very visceral and weird, and going to be a lot of fun, but very challenging to shoot. But it's going to be a blast.
We've got some wonderful guest stars coming in this time, and more locations. Can you believe it? I mean, Sunday Fun Day last year alone had, I think, 17 locations that we went to, and I think we've topped that in this year's Sunday.
Have we topped locations, because there's one location that just goes on?
Oh yeah, one location in. I never gave something away there tonight. I'm not going to give anything away.
For me, once I had them and I started to write towards season 1, it's so much easier when you feel comfortable with the actors,
And on the flip side, it's really rare as an actor to be in a situation where we're like shooting multiple cameras at the same time, so we're talking over each other. Usually it's like you got to keep things clean, and it's very sterile. This is not a sterile environment at all, so that helped keep the energy going, and it helped keep things, I don't know, edgy, I guess.
It's great.